All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Survivalist Prepper Show. This week we've got a whole bunch of junk on the table because we're going to do a show about gift ideas, not necessarily Christmas. It is kind of Christmas time right now, but Father's Day, birthdays, all sorts of stuff. Christmas ideas for preppers. A lot of this stuff is my stuff, so there's a lot of stuff for guys on here, but it can be for girls too. But there's there's a lot actually that we don't have on here that I'll link to and all of that stuff. But I want to do this as kind of unique ideas, right? Not the same old thing. I mean, some of these are going to be the same old thing, but it's some that are pretty unique. Like the first one I've got, which is an everyday carry jacket, which it's pretty neat. It's like $130, but it's literally an everyday carry jacket. It's got a bunch of different pockets. They've got at Scott eVest, SCOTTEVEST. They've got like fleeces. They've got winter jackets, but they've got like pockets inside, kind of like hidden pockets, I suppose. I don't know that I would, call them hidden, but they've got. I mean, it's like
so you can go like this and go.
Yeah. It's like those guys that pull out the jackets, they have the watches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Watch.
So, ooh.
But it's kind of like that, so you can have all that in your jacket. Those are pretty neat. The one I'm looking at right here is like $300.
Ooh.
A little expensive, but I mean, they're cool jackets. Some
cool.
of them are less expensive than that. Some of them aren't. But if you've got the money or you've got a spouse that really wants one.
Hint, hint.
But no, we're not going to do very much Christmas this year.
No.
Which is kind of cool that we got all this stuff out here because it shows me how much stuff I do have already.
Right. It shows me too. So then I know I don't have to run out and buy things for you.
Yeah. So the EDC jacket is the first one I've got. I'll go through a few of mine and then you can go through yours because you've got stuff you can actually make, right?
Right. So to keep it less expensive and give gifts that are... To me, it means a lot because you actually took the time to make it.
Yeah, and depending on the person, if they don't like it because, you didn't spend any money, well, probably shouldn't give them a gift anyway.
I wouldn't give them a gift anyway.
This Titan paracord right here that I have is a cool idea for preppers because it's not just, we all love our paracord. But it's not just the regular paracord. It's got some copper wire. It's got jute twine. It's 550 paracord, and it's got the red marker line in it. I'll have a picture of this so you can see that a little bit better. But it's really cool stuff. It's about $24, $25 for 100 feet, and it's only available on Amazon. But it really is worth it. I don't know. I did a video about this in the past. I don't know that I would buy everything, all the paracord I had, as Titan paracord, but it's definitely cool to have at least 100 feet. What else do I have here? Stuff like tactical pens.
Those are cool.
Yeah, even like the tactical flashlight like this. Stuff like that. Just a little stuff that can be useful, but doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. And I guess that would kind of be a stocking stuffer, huh?
Could be.
I've got hidden gun shelves, and I did a review on that in the past. Somebody also just sent me an email, and I'll try to link to that as well, but he makes them. He's starting his own business, and he makes the art, basically.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave a link to that once I get a little bit more information from him, but that's pretty cool. Also, the gun shelf that I got and ran the contest, I think I gave Jake won the contest, just for little handguns, but something like that is pretty unique, I think.
I think it's neat, and I like that it looks like artwork, something that you would just hang on your wall, and no one would ever think that stored in that is a weapon, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because the kids kind of know, but when other people come over, they have no idea. Normal, average, everyday people that aren't interested in prepping don't even think about stuff like that. So pretty cool idea, and that's why it's kind of hard in that kind of niche to find people to buy it too, because it's really, people don't even think about it. So
right.
They have to be kind of told about it. Why don't you do a couple instead of me?
Well, mine are really easy, and mine are all pretty much low cost. And depending on if you have like wood laying around your house and stuff like we do, you can make this stuff. So, for example, if I can get to it, my little blocks
Yeah, which you made basically
I
out of
like
scrap
these.
wood, right?
Yeah, these were scrap wood when we were, I was redoing the front, the porch, and I had extra pieces of wood, and so it was just sitting there, so I made these little blocks. And they spell joy.
All you got to do basically is buy the paint.
Yep, and the paints were, I think, 47 cents a piece at Walmart, and then I just hand painted the letters on there. So that was one little thing. Oops. Technical difficulties. Something else I made in this sign was...
Splish splash.
Yeah, so you can hang it up in your bathroom. And I actually made that from a fence post, an extra fence post that we had. But you could make it from like reclaimed wood. That's the big thing. Everybody says reclaimed wood. So you can get pallets for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then the paint that I used was just leftover paint from building horse jumps. I did spend a little bit of money though on the lettering because you bought me a Cricut machine, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I had to spend the money. We had to spend the money for the Cricut machine, but if you have one, there you go.
But you painted that one, or one of them, your barn, your rules sign back here, you painted that
That
by
was hand painted. So that was, I mean, again, that
I
was...
couldn't make it look that cool, so.
Yeah, and this was
depends on your
actually,
skill.
this was from a pallet.
Was it?
Yeah. So I already know who that's going to.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Now, I pulled up this jar of cookies and explained that a little bit because there's a reason I pulled that up, but
There
so
is.
explain. Yeah, I want to try it today. This is
Okay.
This was made in 2013.
Yeah, the chocolate chips might be meh.
We'll see though. That's my whole point. I want to see a couple years old. But explain what you did and how it
So
works.
what this is just taking a mason jar and then it's you're layering mixes. So it's oatmeal, brown sugar, flour, pecans, chocolate chips. And then you put a label with it saying how to make them. So you're going to mix in an egg and half a cup of butter in this. And you can make it pretty and put, so like on this one, sorry, I'm messing up your display.
That's right.
So on this one, I just added a little ribbon and the top, a piece of fabric. But these are really cool because they do cost a little bit of money, but I don't think you can see it, but there's an oxygen absorber in there too. This is a chili mix that I made. So it's pretty sitting on the shelf, so it's decorative, but at the same time, it's also something that you can use.
And that has
you can
to
make a
be
meal.
dry stuff in there, right?
All dry ingredients, yeah. And I actually found different recipes for mason jar recipes online. There was a website, I think it has like 300 different recipes for cookies, different beans. And so like this has dried black beans, kidney beans, the white beans, I think those are Great Northern beans, and then the spices. So this will keep forever. And then you just put it in the crock pot and add lots of water because the beans are all dried, and it'll take you probably, if you soak them overnight, then put them in the crock pot all day on low, add some hamburger, and you've got a meal.
Cool. And as far as the cookies, is that all you have to do too, is add water?
No, the cookies you have to add an egg and butter.
So you would have to have that stuff in an SHTF type of situation.
Right. But if you gave these away as presents, they do cost a little bit of money because you got your mason jar and then you have your ingredients. But it's a thoughtful gift, and you're kind of introducing someone to preparedness. Yeah. And I actually gave some away last year, and one of the doctors was all excited because he was like, "Oh, I can have this for in case this will go in my emergency food storage stuff, just in case." But his wife likes it, so it's sitting on their kitchen.
It's being pretty.
Yeah. All
right, so let me go through a couple now, and then we'll go back to you. But I've got a couple of the things that we offer at the SHTF shop, which is the Bug Out Bag First Aid Kit, which I don't have here because I just sold them, the ones that I had. But I will have those pretty shortly. And the Everyday Carry Kit, which I don't have one of those. I put those together individually. But those are both pretty cool. They're unique ideas. The Bug Out Bag First Aid Kit you helped me put together.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of different cool stuff. Nothing like the Quick Clot or anything like that. But It's got the basic stuff. It's a great car kit. It's a great, a bug out bag, just a minor injury kit, but pretty cool. The everyday carry kit, that was something I put together because I wanted one, and decided that it's easy enough. It's easy enough to put together. It costs about $50, but it's got all the different things you'd need in it. One more that I kind of found on eBay when I was looking is a solar shower. And not that in a SHTF situation you necessarily need to shower every day, but it'll give you warm water when you need it. And even if you do, you need to shower eventually. So having that option
would be nice.
Yeah, that way you don't have to expend fuel on stuff like that to heat up your water. Now boiling it, different story. You're gonna have to. Another one I've got here or a couple of them that Eric from Preppenstein Design does. Let's see if I can grab these. But I love this belt. He sent me this belt, so I didn't pay for it, but they're about $100. But it's a really cool belt because it's got what it is this end right here has got all the little stuff in it. It's got a striker on the end or a mag bar. It's got a fishing kit in there. It's got copper wire. It's got jute twine. It's got everything right here in the end of this. Plus, this is, I believe it's like 50, 75 feet. I'm not real sure. I'll leave a link to Preppenstein Designs or Wazoo Survival. But really cool belt. And that's something that's, you could make yourself. But who wants to really do that? And for me, if I were to make one of these, I don't know that I would get exactly like my belt would look a little funky.
That's very intricate. That's a lot of work that went into that.
Yeah. And this right here is pretty cool. It's his microfire key ring, which I have one on my key ring. And this is a cool little stocking stuffer. I believe this is like $9.
That's
and
cool.
It's got the fire, fire thread in here. It's got a striker right here. It's got a little mag bar in there. Really tiny, but it just goes right on your keychain, lightweight, so it's not going to mess with your keys. But this one's actually yours. You haven't put on your keys yet, but I have one on mine. But I wanted to use this first before you take it. So
okay.
The solar USB chargers. I got one right here. These are cool. These are great for kids, for everybody, because my daughter, I can't get these away from my daughter.
Yeah, she stole the blue one. It was cool.
She'll use it for her tablet, her phone. It's like their little backup chargers. The only time I ever get them back is when her battery's dead.
Yep.
Or she's got it plugged into my computer to recharge it. They do recharge in the sun. It's emergency purposes only, so it only charges up to like 70%. And it takes a while to do it, but it's a really cool backup to have. Put it in your bug out bag, put it in your car. A lot of people all the time, you're in your car going home from work, you've worked all day, your phone's almost dead. If you don't have that plug in your car, the outlet, it's a good option to have. Rechargeable headlamps. I love this headlamp. This is my favorite headlamp. It's got the rechargeable batteries on the back. You actually have to buy a couple, but
this is my headlamp.
Oh yeah, it was her. Yeah, this is what I got you for Christmas last year, right?
This was my Christmas present.
Don't bribe me. But yes, it is. I love that thing.
This is the coolest thing in the world to go out and feed the horses.
Yeah, it's so easy.
It is amazing.
And it's bright and it focuses. You can
very, very
narrow
cool.
the beam and all
yeah,
that.
Yeah, this one is awesome. This is like the Cadillac of headlamps.
Yeah, and there's a bunch that are nicer than that, but that one is, of the headlamps we have, yeah, that's the Cadillac.
Yeah.
I've got folding camp stoves, and I've got one. I just did the video with my lights out kit. I don't have it here, but there's a whole bunch of different kinds you can buy. You can even make the little rocket stoves yourself. Another thing that you could do. Why don't you make me a rocket stove this year?
I could.
You could. You should.
But
I think that's what I want.
I'm trying to make things out of stuff that I already have. So if I can find...
But a rocket stove you can make out of a little tin can.
Okay.
So,
I can do that.
Yeah.
I'll make a homemade rocket stove.
All right. Deal.
Now you know what you're getting for Christmas.
That's all right. We'll see.
Okay.
There's other stuff you can do too. The Sawyer Mini, I'll do one more, and then we'll go back to you. But the Sawyer Mini filtration system is really cool. They're like $20.
Is that this?
And that's got a little bit more. I've got my platypus bag in there. I've got my little adapters and stuff, and my compass. I'm not sure why my compass is in there. Probably just to keep it dry in that waterproof bag.
That's where it went.
Yeah. But those are really cool. There's also the life straws, all of that different stuff. And while we're on filters, this Berkey Sport. This is a Berkey Sport, right?
Yes.
And the Go Berkey is just a a larger version or a smaller version of the regular Berkey. But the Berkey Sports are pretty cool. It's got the filter in there already. I believe these are, what, $25?
No, they're like $19.99.
And it's got the drinking straw right here. So these are pretty cool as a hiking thing. You know, maybe leave empty in your bug out bag. I wish it would be nicer if that was made out of metal, but it's not. It is what it is. But those are pretty cool. All right, so let's get to your turn now, I suppose.
Yeah, so I just have a couple more, but this one, I love this. It's just a jar of vanilla, but the cool thing about this is it's homemade vanilla. And it's super, super easy. All you do is take vodka and put in vanilla beans, and you leave it alone. That's something that if you're going to make for this Christmas, you're going to be pushing it because what you do is
it takes a while.
It takes a while, yeah. So like I've been making a big thing of vanilla. Should have brought that up, the big Absolute vodka container.
Yeah, for people who drink vodka we don't drink, so it's not a big deal. But people who drink, if I drank, that would bug me that you wasted a whole bottle of vodka.
But I didn't waste it because I've actually used it. I've been using it as we go, as it's been steeping or, turning into vanilla. And it's really, really good. So all you do is I took like a 750 ml, so milliliter bottle of Absolute vodka. And I took 12 vanilla beans, which I bought on eBay. I think they were like $10. And you just split the vanilla beans and then you just put them in the vodka bottle. And I got the Absolute because it was a dark blue color because you want to keep it in a dark bottle. And then when Christmas comes around or a holiday comes around, you just make little labels. And I put a little raffia bow on it to make it festive.
Raffia?
Yeah, this is raffia. So you could make it as fancy as you wanted. You could probably put some little dingle bobs down on it.
Raffia and dingle bobs.
Yeah. And then you have a really awesome homemade Christmas gift for people that they can use in baking, and then they'll use it a lot, and then they'll think about you. But it's just vodka and vanilla beans. That's all it is.
Yeah. And so then another
cool
thing that might get him into that, researching how to do that and
then
stumble across some other stuff, canning and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. So that's all my thinking, a lot of my thinking behind the gifts that I want to give for Christmas, like the meals in the jars, the vanilla, things that you can make on your own, because maybe that will gear them towards, well, what can I do? Or it'll get them thinking about stuff that they can do, and maybe it might get them on the path to preparedness. Mm-hmm. And one more thing is, this is just something you could put in a backpack, and it just has some crackers, some tuna, a little flashlight, tea bag, and it's all in a water bottle. So you have a little sandwich kit.
Yeah, cheap little Walmart water bottle.
Yeah.
And that would be good for friends, that go hiking or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it could be a little kit.
You could personalize it. So if you have a Cricut machine like I do, you could put some fancy saying or something on it, like Joe's water bottle or something.
Yeah. Or a Survivalist prepper, and then you can buy them from the SHTF shop.
We could do that too.
Maybe. But that is a pretty cool idea. Just a little gift. Even for the kids, maybe stocking stuffers. The kids love the water bottles. The little flashlights, maybe even a pocket knife, stuff like that. And it takes up a lot of space in the stocking too, so you don't have to pack it with a bunch of little crap.
Yep.
I've got a few more here, and then we'll get into tinfoil hat time, which
I have a few more too.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Which is about the Federal Reserve. But my next one is a Dutch oven. Is a pretty cool gift. What do those run?
I bought ours, I think, on Amazon or eBay, and I think it was like $14, and it's big.
Yeah.
It's like a quart Dutch oven. So
when you first buy it, you've got to season it and all that with the oil and cook it, and then maybe get a couple of recipe books, but stuff like that for somebody who likes to cook. Great idea. People that go camping again.
Yeah, and if you get really creative, you could try out recipes for the Dutch oven, and you could actually make your own recipe book, put it in either a scrapbook or something, make it look kind of cool with the recipe on it, and that would be neat, something easy to do too, and it would be a very thoughtful gift.
Yeah. See, I'm about the easy. You're about the thoughtful. I'm about to go to Amazon, buy a recipe book, and give them a Dutch oven. You're about, we'll make them
but make it pretty.
But yes, you're right. It is more thoughtful. The next one I've got is junk silver, which is a good idea because it's low cost. That depends on the people you give it to. You want to make sure it's somebody who knows what junk silver is. Not, they just get 5 quarters from you or something, or a roll of quarters, and they're like, cool, I got a roll of quarters.
Thanks.
Yeah, but they have no idea what it is.
Yeah, and they go and put it in the vending machine, and each of those quarters is worth like $2.65.
Yeah.
And they just used it as a quarter.
I remember a couple of years ago when you got me a bunch of that stuff, and even very little bit of gold, but it was cool because as I was opening stuff up and just piling up, and I was like, cool, I got all this stuff. And the kids were probably going, he got dimes and quarters.
Yeah.
And he's all excited about it. What is his problem?
They're like, I spent way too much money on him. I could have given him dimes and quarters.
Yeah. Another one is the Israeli bandages. Those are pretty cool. And those are one of those first aid supplies that aren't just the normal Band-Aids, gauze pads, all of that. They're $20 some, right?
I think they were like, no, they're much more reasonable than that, like $7 or $8. Yeah.
Yeah, but those are cool, and those
Yeah.
are the interesting kind of, when somebody opens it up, they're going to be like, hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, if they're into first aid or prepping or they don't know anything about it, then they're going to be like, oh, right, I did really want one of these.
Basically, for dudes, for us, it's, even if I have, like I have a Sawyer Mini, I get another one, I'm happy with it. I've got plenty of paracord, but if I get more, I'm happy with it. I mean, you can see all the crap back here. I mean, I could just pan around and give a bunch of Christmas ideas from all the junk that I have, but
it's not junk.
Even stuff that's
it's
stuff.
Useful stuff.
But another thing that I don't have because of the cost is night vision. Whether that's the monocular or the binoculars, the real true night vision is pretty pricey. I mean, 150, 300, up to, 1,000, 1,500.
You can get as expensive as you want on
that. You want to go the military style where they pop down? That's probably, I don't know what the price of that is. Probably $2-3 grand. But they do have kids' toys, and I don't know how true of night vision it is, but they do have the kids' toys that are like $60. That might do the job. I don't care in a SHTS situation. I don't care if I look cool. I want to be able to see who's coming to get me, basically. So if that means I'm grabbing one of the kids' toys, actually, if I got that, it wouldn't be one of the kids' toys.
It'd be your toy.
Yeah. But that would be cool. Something night vision. I've always wanted that, and that's something I need to put money aside, save up for it, and finally get it, because that's just something that would be really neat. Even if it's just camping and you're wondering, you hear noises outside, you're wondering if it's a bear or something you want to check out. That's, I think that's a great idea.
I agree.
Go ahead and talk about this one, because I don't know too much about the survival seed vaults, but what are those?
Survival seed vaults they're kind of prepackaged packages of seeds that are like vacuum packed and sealed so they last a long time. You can freeze them, put them in the freezer, or you can just like leave them out. But it's vacuum packed, and it's meant to be like in a worst case scenario, something happening and you don't have any seeds and you need to grow food. So you can find those for what, $20, $27?
Yeah, pretty cheap.
Yeah. And basically you're giving the gift of a garden. So that's
and
cool.
That kind of goes into the same thing you're talking about, but maybe you could put some little I don't know what you call them.
Dingleberries. Dinglebobs?
Dinglebobs, yeah, not dingleberries. That's two different things. You don't want to be giving anybody any dingleberries. But anyway.
No dingleberries. I should write that down. No dingleberries for Christmas.
But anyway, I totally lost where you were.
On the seed vaults, we're going to put them as dinglebobs.
Oh, do your little bows and
yeah,
dinglebobs?
You could do little bows and make it all pretty. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I've got a couple more, and then I'll be finished, and then we'll get to you, and then you can finish. But I've got two-way radios, or like the little Bofang ham radio. You need to have a license for that. You don't have your license yet, but we're going to get another one anyway, because these can be used in an SHTF situation. These can be used as two-way communication right here on the property.
So I can go, breaker, 19.
If you do that, I'm not answering you.
Okay.
But they can be. Right now, this is something she would need a license for. not something she's really interested right now, so it's not going to happen. But they also have the MERS radios, the GMRS radios, even just the little walkie-talkies. They make sure they're not the real cheap kid ones because you'll want to be able to have some distance. But stuff like that would be pretty cool because if you're in two different areas, or say you're scouting something out, I mean, there's a bunch of different situations where you might be separated, not a huge distance, even if you're bugging out. Say you're in two different cars, and you don't want to get lost, or you're a mile apart or something like that. Cool things to have. Every prepper wants, again, one of those things that I could have 14 of, and I'd be cool with it.
Okay, good to know.
I've got a couple more, and then I'm done. I've got the Wartech knife, little folding knife, and I don't know where it is. Actually, it's right there. Can you grab that? But just this little Wartech knife is pretty cool. It's got a little flashlight on it. This is like $10, so it's not the greatest knife in the world, but it's a pretty cool knife for the price. And this is something that even if it's not the greatest, somebody would be like, hey, this is pretty cool. Along with that, this knife is pretty cool. This is the Rat 5, and this is made by the Ontario Knife Company. And it's basically, it's not an ESSE knife, an ESSE knife, but it's made by the same people who or used to make the ESSE knives. It's basically the same brains that came up with the ESSE came up with this. It's got a micarta handle, nice sturdy blade. I love this knife.
Is that a fixed blade knife?
This is fixed, yes, you can't fold it.
So that means that won't fold.
Yep. And this is by far my favorite knife that I have. But these are pretty cool. These are, ESSE knives can run up to $200. This is as close as you can get at about $100. So for the price, this is my favorite knife. This is a very cool knife. I did a lot of research trying to figure out the best knife for the price. The sheath is the regular nylon sheath. I like the ESSE sheaths better, but this isn't too bad. It's got a little pouch. If I can open this, I'm not going to try it right now. Oh, yes I am. Little pouch up front. I've got my flint in here and some matches. But a pretty cool little setup. And then the last one I've got is survival games. We've got Conflicted right here, the new deck. But there's a bunch of different stuff. There's seed games or something, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen those.
I forget what it is, but heirloom seed game. There's the urban survival game that we have in the Lights Out kit. There's a bunch of different games, even board games, stuff like that have something to do with survival. Those are pretty cool. Something like that I'm not going to be super gung-ho about if I get them, but the kids might in their stockings.
Right. That would be cool. And what's cool about with the Conflicted card series or any of the card games that are geared towards preparedness, it makes people think about things.
Yeah, it opens up that dialogue.
So I think those are really cool if you're wanting to get somebody involved, but you don't really know how to say it. Give them something like that.
Yeah. And one more I forgot about was legacy food. If you've got somebody that isn't quite into preparedness, they don't want to start storing the beans and rice and all of that, legacy food is a cool way, and even for us, it's a real convenient set it and forget it kind of thing where, yeah, I don't want to totally depend on that because what you do and what we have tastes better than that. But
I don't know. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, and it's one thing that you can basically forget it. I mean, it's a 25-year shelf life. You don't have to worry about rotation and storage because, as we're going to talk about next week with food storage and stuff, you're bound to lose food. I mean, unless you're constantly rotating it. But this is something that you put it somewhere and it's good for a long, long time. I would make sure and try that, but to make sure you like it before you buy a whole bunch of it. But pretty good stuff. And for somebody that is, maybe on the verge of prepping, like they're worried about it, but they're not so worried they're going to go out and do anything because they're afraid they're, going to be seen a certain way or whatever.
Doomsday prepper.
Yeah. You can, for like $30-40, get a little sample pack of this stuff and give it to them as a gift. As long as they know that, hey, this is not any delicacy food. So when you eat it, don't expect like pancakes and syrup or anything, but it is, that long-term food. If you have a small power outage, something like that, it's good stuff. It's a good low-cost gift to give. Mm-hmm. I think I'm done. What else do you have?
I just only have 2 more, which are, again, this is stuff that I made. So my toothpaste, homemade toothpaste. I might fill up your stocking with homemade toothpaste. Very easy to make, and it's good.
Because I love it so much.
I know. But you can use essential oils to flavor it, which is really nice. And something else, and actually I gave these away already to people that I work with. They're lip balms.
Yeah,
So
that stuff's
homemade
pretty good,
lip
actually.
balms, yeah. And everybody that I made
put
it
those
for.
in my stocking, yes. Not the toothpaste, though.
Okay, but you can do different flavors, and this stuff is really good. Way better than chapstick or any of the commercial products you can buy, because it actually works and it doesn't dry out your lips. And I am a chapstick addict. I
Yeah.
love chapstick. So I made, I think, 25 or 50 of these, and I gave away a lot of them and then used the rest of them. But
And that's one of the items, bug out bag items a lot of people don't think about, but if you're in harsh conditions, that can be really annoying and painful
yeah,
to have chapped lips. So
yeah. So I really like those. You can get different flavors that are, so you can either go all essential oils, like I do peppermint and or peppermint, and then I've done lavender and honey, and then I've also done lavender and lemon, which is really nice. But there's flavors that you can buy too, that you can purchase, like mint truffle, and that's just what makes it like outstanding. So it's not essential oils, it's just flavor oil, but it's really nice. And if you make them, they're way better than anything that you can buy. And you can make them for maybe 20 cents a tube, and that's including buying the tubes. You can get the different color caps and the stickers. If you're really good with a computer like you are, you can make the labels say something cool like Happy Holidays or something.
yeah. And then what is it that the kids like, the name brand stuff?
Oh, Burt Bees.
Burt Bees, yeah.
Yeah,
And that stuff
that's
is,
basic. I like this better than Burt Bees.
yeah, it's pretty good. And the kids like it too. And they're, I don't know how you can be picky over lip balm, but they are.
Yeah,
So, but they like that stuff too.
And I actually have recipes for the vanilla, the different flavor lip balms, lotions and stuff. I actually have all of those recipes in my book that I wrote, 10 Things You Should Never Buy Again. And then I break down of why you should never buy it again.
Yep.
But that would be a cool either gift idea or, get the book and find all kinds of things that you can make for yourself and for your friends and family. And you can feel good about it because it's all natural stuff. There's no chemicals in any of the recipes that I made.
Yep. Cool. I think we'll go ahead and get into tinfoil hat time.